Happy Easter. David here from Texas, getting back to you again with our video series on spiritual awakening. This is our 13th video in the series. And if you're wondering how to find out which one is which, it's in the description. Just click on the description of the videos and you can find what number video that it is if you want to watch them in order. And these first videos that I'm doing right now, this first part of this series is kind of, I guess you would call the cliff notes of the cliff notes, if you want to say to speak, because this is just very, very briefly overview of kind of what's going on with me, and I'm just sharing my experience, and so it's not in detail at all, and we're going to go into detail probably more if people are interested in hearing it. But I know there's a lot of people going through. There's some mass awakening going on right now, and there's a lot of people going through these things, and they don't have any idea what's happening with them, and why they're experiencing pain or why different things are happening to them, and possibly paranormal events are happening to them, and possibly lights are flashing at them in their house and stuff, and they don't really know what's going on, and they're trying to figure it out. Well, it very possibly could be that you have a spiritual calling, that you have a calling, and that you are supposed to be a part of this awakening of this. It's a 3 decade, I guess, what you'd call is a 3 decade reset of the planet, where the consciousness is being raised on the planet again at this time. And just like I mentioned before, just like the caveman days, they raised the consciousness, and then it's done. It's been done, numerous times, and uh, and it's happening again. And I know you heard the term see behind the veil, and all that kind of stuff. That the psychics can see behind the veil and that kind of thing. Well, there's going to be no veil, okay? And I think all the kids that are awakening right now, or that are born right now, I should say, are seeing through the veil already. And so, if you've got kids or grandkids that are seeing ghosts, that's because they are. Okay, that's because they are. And once you get through your awakening, then you'll understand a lot more about. That's what the awakening is, right? Is to understand what's going on. And part one of the things that has come to my attention about awakening is that people are struggling with fear, and probably everybody, include myself. We all struggle with fear because we don't like change. Nobody wants to change. We don't like change, and we're afraid of change, and we're afraid of doing things that are different than what everybody else is doing. And I guess they're afraid that they're going to be embarrassed what by change, because they're changing, they're doing something different. Their beliefs have changed to be different than what everybody else's beliefs are. And it's I've had some people around me before. I'm just will speak whatever's on my mind. It'll just come out of my mouth, and I don't have a problem with it. I have probably not enough filter on my mouth. I probably could use some more filter on my mouth, to be honest with you. But I have friends and family members that are around me that are not wanting me to speak about this type of stuff, this awakening stuff, and because they're afraid of what other people will think about me or them or whatever. And really, they're going to be the minority before it's over with. I'm telling you right now, because this whole planet is going through this, and it's their choice to wake up or not wake up. It's just that simple. You can wake up or you can not wake up. It's being offered to you. You don't have to do it. You can stay asleep, and you can, stick to your old belief systems and your old paradigms that you're used to, and keep your mask on and live your comfortable life. We do things that are comfortable. We have a tendency of wanting to keep our lives comfortable. We want to go and do our little job, and we understand it. We come home and we want to eat our little meal and do our little deal or whatever, and then the next day we start over again. Rinse and repeat. And I'm telling you, you're never going to live your best life if you don't step out of the box and uh, do something that is not your most comfortable thing to do. You're going to have to get out of that comfort zone to live your best life. There's no question about that, and that's probably what this spiritual awakening is. Is If you're awakening right now, you are definitely going to be asked to step out of your comfort zone and do some things, and you're going to be asked to speak your truth. And everybody that's awakening right now are probably, I've mentioned this before, probably some kind of helpers or leaders or something that's going to help other people, because as time goes on, you're going to see more and more and more of this, and you're going to hear more and more and more of it. And right now, we're kind of the pioneers doing this and trying to figure out how to do this and how it needs to be done and stuff. And we're the first ones, and we're trying to get it figured out how to do it. And if you're listening to me, you're probably a part of it. And I'm just here trying to help you get through it, and that fear that I mentioned earlier, you're going to have to overcome that fear. You are going to have to overcome that fear, and that's with anxiety and all kinds of stuff. Fear is really, really a bad deal. People keep a mask on because they're afraid of what other people are going to think about them. You have, what I'm learning is you have to just be unbothered by what other people are doing and what they think. It does not matter. It does not matter. This lifetime that we are in on this planet is so short. You just don't realize how fast these days go by and how short this lifetime actually is. And right now, the most important thing that I can see that I think you need to do, and myself included, is to just live our life day by day. Just enjoy what's going on in front of you right now. And because don't worry about what's coming. You probably can't change it anyway. And don't worry about what's behind you, because you sure can't change your past. And I think really it's just more important to be concerned with what's happening with you today, and to live your best life today, and to step out of the box, and do some different things, and get out of that comfort zone and take that mask off and lose it. Forget about that fear, lose that fear, and don't worry about what people think about you. If you're being asked to speak your truth and you're going through this awakening process and things are happening to you, like I've talked about in the other videos, and like I said, these videos are numbered in the description, so you can go all the way back to number 1 and follow on through. We're on number 13 today, and and you'll see just a few of the things that happened to me along my journey. And like I said, I'm going to get into it to more depth and detail about some of the things that happened to me if I start getting people that are interested in these videos. And, and because I know it's happening to you, if you're watching this video, it's probably happening to you right now. You probably got lights flashing in your house, and you're probably got pain that you're dealing with, and you probably got a lot of these things happening to you that happened to me, that you didn't really understand why it was happening to you or what was going on, and how to get it to stop, and how to get that pain to stop, and how to get, to get this stuff, over with. You may have been one of the ones that went through the same situation I did, where you had a negative energy sent to you to awaken you, and it it really can be, that can be, I'm laughing, but that can be a bad deal. That can tear your life up. I'm telling you, it can tear up things around your house. And it'll keep doing it until you address this problem. And I'm telling you, it's gonna keep on tearing stuff up around your house until you get on this path that you're supposed to be on. And I'm laughing because I'll just go ahead and spit out part of it. There's been a energy that was sent to me that I understand that was supposed to take me out off the planet. And I've mentioned this before, and I was watching one of the tarot readers, and it never really took me out completely. It almost did a couple of times. It almost did a couple of times. And then it kind of backed off where it quit trying to kill me and just seemed like it was just tormenting the hell out of me every day. And I was trying to think of the name of this lady, one of the tarot readers, and she said she calls everybody Star Child, if you know who I'm talking about. And an unusual look, but not to be underestimated. She's really a good tarot reader. And she claims that this energy, somehow or another, I made friends with this demonic energy, and that this energy actually fell in love with me. If you can believe that. I know that's bizarre. That's bizarre. And you know, me speaking stuff like that has just got my family just like, but if you look online, if you start watching these tarot readings, you'll see that pop up all over the place because there actually are people reading that as a love relationship reading, and it's all over the damn internet. And it may be with somebody else. I hope I'm not the only one. It may be with somebody else, and they think that it is a real deal, that this is a real love affair or of some sort. And we'll talk about it some more, of some sort. But I'm telling you right now, they're reading demonic energy that's in love with the human being, and I laugh at it because that's so bizarre. But you just get on YouTube, you won't have to go far. If you just start looking at the tarot readers on YouTube, you won't have to go far, and you'll see what I'm talking about when you see them start talking about this love affair that's going on. So I really, I really should get on there and message them and say, look, you know, I think that you might be reading my energy, and that this is what's really happening. But I haven't done that. I probably should do that. But we're going to talk more about that later on. That's not what I want to talk about today. But that's just the most bizarre thing that's ever happened in the world. And it's a story. It's a story. And when you hear that story from the beginning to the end, you're just not going to believe it. And the things that have literally, truly happened to me. I'm not only here making this up, I'm trying to tell you the truth because of the number of people that's waking up right now. I don't know what's going on. Maybe all of them are going through this exact same deal. Maybe all of them that are waking up right now are going through the exact same thing that I'm going through. Surely I'm not the only one that's doing that, that's going through that. But anyway, moving on, something that's come to my attention is I mentioned in some of the earlier videos that the one before this, there's been a spread. I was dropping videos real regular almost every day, and then there was a space, and that's because I'm having to drive to Houston. I live in Texas, in Central Texas, and I have to drive to Houston every day during the weekday to get radiation treatments for cancer, and uh, and it's a real drag, man. It's a long deal, you know. It's a long day, and the treatment doesn't take that long. When you're in the treatment room, you're not in there but about 15, 20 minutes in the treatment room. But, you know, there's a few minutes in the waiting room, you know, maybe 30 minutes or so that you have to wait in the waiting room. They take you, you know, there's a main waiting room, and then that, you know, doctors are. They move you from one waiting room to the next waiting room, and that's how they do that. So I was in the second waiting room, and I've met a lot of people that are there that are being treated for cancer and different types of cancer. There's women back there and there's men back there, uh, and everybody's kind of like waiting for their turn to get their treatment, whatever kind of treatment they're getting. They treat all kind of cancer there, and it's come to my attention that talking and making friends with those folks that are back there, because you're there with them every day, every single day, and you just get talking to them after a while, and you make friends with them, and almost most of them, not all of them, but most of them have the exact same problem that I had, and there's something to it. There's something to it. So I'm finding out that most of them are people pleasers, and that's kind of what my problem was. I was a big time people pleaser. I never really spent enough time pouring into myself and taking care of myself, and I was always trying to make sure that everybody else was happy, and that what I was doing, I wanted to make sure, and I grew up like that. That's the way we grew up. Is we were told from an early age that when somebody hires you to do something for them, you got to give them more than what they're paying for, and you got to make sure that they're happy before you're done, and you got to be careful with that. You got to really be careful with that. That's not a bad policy, but you got to be careful, because what happens is people will take advantage of you, and they don't mind taking advantage of you. And if they call you back again, they know about what they can do. They know if they ask you to do a little more, that you'll do a little more, and they don't mind asking for that and a little bit more past that, beyond that. And it gets pretty one-sided after a while, and people will definitely take advantage of you, and they will definitely push you around. And if you give them that nice guy kind of a approach, that you're a nice guy and you're here to please them, then they'll sometimes they'll get plumb like a bully and try to push you around. Well, you do this, you got to do that, and this isn't quite the way I want it, and and it's just most of the time just a bunch of crap. They're just people love their power. They love their power, and that was a problem with me. And I never was. I was always overdoing it and worrying about it. Stress. Worry causes stress. Stress causes dis-ease. Well, guess what? Look at how many people in there are in that waiting room have the exact same problem. A lot of them are work related, and a lot of them are family related. Um, some of the people, I'm not gonna just one lady that's in the room is down in the waiting room down there. She is really cute young lady, with a beautiful family, and I'm kind of suspicious that she's probably overusing herself, taking care of her family because it's her tradition, and take care of her husband and her family. And my guess is that that's exactly what's happening to her. Is she's using too much of herself over there. And here's how this is supposed to work: you can't pour out of an empty cup. You have to take care of yourself first and then help others with what you have left over. And so she has three pretty good sized boys and a husband. And my guess is she's running after them and fixing every meal for them and taking care of their clothes and all that kind of stuff. And she's just wearing herself out, and it's causing a dis-ease. And kind of the same thing happened to me. I was having trouble with the getting the work out of my shop. I had a shop at the time where I was building custom cars for people, and I had some paranormal things happening in my shop and with the cars, and I was having trouble getting them out. And I was stressing over that, and I was stressing over not getting them out. And then, you get these calls from these people. Yeah, is my car ready? Is my car ready? And the stuff that I was doing it's like art almost, and it takes a long time to do it. And they watch these shows on television sometimes, and they think, oh, that's supposed to be real quick. Well, let me tell you something. what you see on television is not what happens in real life. It's not that quick, and so people get spoiled and they want their stuff back right now. And so I was stressed out over that, and I wound up with a disease. Okay, and I'm down there taking care of it right now. And there's a lot of other people, And I was talking to another young man that was he was younger than me. He was early 40s, I think, or 40s, and he was with a company that had been bought, a mom and pop type company that had been bought out by a bigger company that went in and started chopping heads and stuff like that. He was stressed over his job and stuff, and trying to make them happy and stuff, and he wound up with a disease. So there seems to be a pattern here. There's obviously a pattern here. When you start doing more than you can do and you quit taking care of yourself, you have to love yourself. You have to take care of yourself first. You have to, if you ever fly an airplane, when that they give you the instructions on how to put the mask on if you fly over water and they crash the plane and the oxygen drops down, they always tell you put your mask on first because you can't help anybody else if you don't have your mask on first, right? Here's your sign. You got to do the same thing. You got to do the same thing when you're helping others, and when you have to take care of yourself first uh, before you help others. You have to do that. You have to take care of yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to take care of yourself first. Do not wear yourself out. If you're tired and somebody's asking you to do something and you're really tired, you need to tell them, I'll be with you in a minute. I'm resting right now. I've had a long day. I'm resting right now. You get up and go iron your own shirt, or you get up and do something. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you might wind up with a disease, and that's where I think all that comes from. And I'm seeing it in real time, in real life, right there in that waiting room with all these people that all have the same story, but it might be slightly different. It's all the same problem from all of them. Very, very similar to almost everybody in that waiting room. There are some other things that are other similarities in there also, that are this group of people here is kind of like got the same problem here, and these people over here got the same problem, and so there are definitely patterns in people's behavior and emotions and how you handle your emotions and this type of thing. There's definitely patterns, but the biggest pattern is this people pleasing deal and this over helping people when you need to be taking care of yourself, and you continue to just run yourself ragged on and on and on, overdoing things and staying tired, run down, and all that kind of stuff. Just get ready because we're probably going to see you in the waiting room with us, okay? You'll be the next one over there beside us. Well, I heard what you said, but I didn't believe it. Well, you can believe it. You can believe it. Now I know that that might not be what you normally hear that causes these health issues, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it's a fact. It's a fact. There's living proof right there in that waiting room. Now I don't know what the doctors tell you causes this stuff, exposure to this and that, but I personally believe the biggest part of it is people just literally wearing themselves out over helping other people and overdoing things for their own self, even, just running yourself, just trying to do too much of your own self, hitting this and that, and I got to get up in the morning, I got to do this, then I've got to do that, then I've got this list over here, I've got to do that, and then I've got to go work out, and then I've got to walk, and then I've got to do all this stuff. What I think you have to do is, I think that you have to adjust your schedule. If you're doing that much work, you need to really start thinking about taking something off the back end so that you can balance your life out. try to balance it out so that you're not having to do so much. If you're over here running in the morning, you may have to cut that workout out that afternoon because you're overusing your body. And when you start overusing your body, you start abusing your body. You know, we think that we are our body, but you're going to find out sooner or later that you're not your body. You're a soul. You are here. You are experiencing. You're have, you're experiencing a life uh, in human form, basically. But you are soul. You are not your body. Your body is your vessel. Your body. You have to take care of your body. You have to take care of your body. If you don't treat your body kindly and don't overwork your body, you will wind up with a disease. I promise you, you will. You just keep abusing your body and watch what happens. Yeah, you are not your body. Your body is your vessel to experience this lifetime in. But you came here, your soul came here to evolve. Souls come here to Earth school to evolve. That's why we're here. It's a school. You're in school, you didn't even know it, but that's true. People don't believe it, but it's true. They just accept these things happen, you know. This cancer, it just happens. I hope I don't get it. It just happens. Well, you know what? There's a reason it happens. And there's a reason that all disease happens. And think about it. Think about it. When the first time I heard that Earth is a school, I just laughed. Earth is a school. You're in school while you're on Earth. You're here to evolve your soul. Believe it. Believe it, because as this awakening, people start awakening, they're going to find out. They're going to find out a lot of things. They're going to find out about the origins and all kind of stuff are different than what they've been brought up with and trained and told all their life. Stories they've heard all their life. It's really different. That's why you have to take care of your body. It's so important that you do that. If you want to stay here very long, you know, and life happens so fast, you really need to enjoy the day. Enjoy every day, because it'll be gone before you know it. Okay, well, I'm just kind of rambling now. That's really what I wanted to say today. And I'll get off here and let y'all enjoy your Easter. And if you watch this, I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking your time to watch this. And I hope that I've helped somebody out there. And I'll continue to put these on. Once I finish this cancer treatment, I'll put more of them out. While I'm doing that, really, I have to rest, and so I'm not going to be able to put as many of them out as I have been. And we'll go back if I start getting some feedback on it, and they want to hear more about detail. If people are having problems, they want to hear more about details, then we can get into details, and or maybe we might try to start some kind of a question and answer if somebody's having trouble, you know, with something. I think I might be able to help them and answer questions for them, and that might be something in the future that we want to look at. So anyway, happy Easter. Thank you so much for looking at these videos, and remember that in the description is the number of the video, and so we've got 1 through 13, not too many, but thanks again. Happy Easter.